What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to Renaissance with Greg and Jay. Another boxing topic today. There's a lightweight fight, a big lightweight fight coming up soon between Vasiliy Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez. The lightweight division is 135 pounds. There's a lot of champions at the weight class. And again, we want to talk about the fight between Vasiliy Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez. It has been highly anticipated. There's been a lot of trash talk, not too vulgar, but a lot of trash talk. And let's get into it. Jay, we're going to talk about Lomachenko today. What's your thoughts on Lomachenko?
Kind of just starting at the beginning, kind of building back up to, to current. Lomachenko probably has the best amateur record I've ever seen. Like over 300 wins and one loss. The only other resume I've seen anywhere near comparable to it, I believe, was Rigondeaux's. And I think Rigondeaux had under 5 losses as well. But with that said, an amazing, probably will not ever be rivaled again type of amateur career. With that said, he was a little bit too old to be fighting kids, but that's another issue.
Right.
As far as a professional career, I don't think I've ever seen anybody in any field. I don't think I've ever seen somebody on a fast track this fast. This man has 16 fights and probably has over 10 championship fights at 16 bouts. That's nuts. So, with that said, a lot going on. But as far as the skills, amazing skills, great feet, good angles, fast hands, short T-Rex type arms, but he uses his distance so well that a lot of times people can't take advantage of that. Now, those people that have been able to take advantage of that are either longer than him and really good at range, or somebody that is very awkward, as far as your Solitos. And I'm not even going to chalk that loss up to professional experience at that time. I'm going to associate that more so with Solito's unconventional style. Because if you think about Vasiliy Lomachenko's angles and styles, a lot of that is more so programmed and freestyling off of how many things are programmed. So with that being said, what you're freestyling off of is a specific angle and a specific time. But if the way that I'm throwing a punch has nothing to do with the angles that you predicting, I'm probably gonna hit you with it.
Right.
And that was the biggest issue with Solito, and just having championship level experience. He pulled that one out. As far as now, Luke Campbell, he just didn't have the chin for it, but he was boxing his ass off. And he did way, way, way better than anybody ever expected him to do. Now, I do see some holes for Lomachenko, but his work rate is so fast that nobody really ever gets to the point of exposing those holes. So,
what's one of them holes?
When he changes foot position, if he rotates around you, he has the advantage. If you rotate with him, and your timing is just as good as his, you could punch him at the exact same time he's throwing his. A lot of people don't have the bravery to do that or the wherewithal to do that because of the quickness of his feet. It's like they're caught off guard, but it's like, how did you not know he was going to do that?
Speaking of which, people having the wherewithal or, I don't know, the gall to do so, do you feel like, okay, number one, he had a great amateur background fighting little kids in short amounts of rounds. I think amateurs, or at least the Olympics, are about 4 rounds. And I forgot how long.
4 to 6 rounds, I think.
Right.
It's changed a couple of times since he's been an Olympian.
Right, 4 to 6 rounds. He's trained by his dad, and he's perfected his style. Like you said, he's high volume. Now the dude is super technical, I will say. Well, I won't say he's like has the best technical ability, but I'm saying he's sharp. He's real sharp with his volume. Now, Do you feel like he fought anybody technically on this level so far? Not a trick question, just really asking.
No. Well, There's a couple people close.
Right. Okay, right. Now,
I think Guillermo was there, but Guillermo Rigondeaux was there, but he was just too small. Like, he had no business fighting Loma. And it looked like something mentally was off with him. Like, something was up. Linares gave him a hell of a fight, but was getting hit way too much, but knocked him down, and was putting hands on Lomachenko. It was just that he was taking a little bit more than he was giving. Pedraza was skilled in how he fought him. Actually, Pedraza impressed me with how he fought him, considering how he pretty much got destroyed by Tank. I was very surprised by that. And then Luke Campbell, I don't know enough about Luke Campbell, but he definitely had a really, really good showing against Lomachenko, and it might have been the best showing anybody's had against him, even considering the Salido loss.
Right. So, I mean, really just piggybacking off what you were talking about, because I agree with you on Lomachenko. Great amateur background, which, again, I think he went to 3 different Olympics and got gold in all 3 or something crazy like that. So you have a 30-something odd year old fighter that's going pro at that age, where most of the rest of these fighters are going pro after way less amateur fights and at a younger age. They're in their 20s or they're in their late teens. So you have a guy that's an adult, a full grown man strength, that dominated all the amateurs. So his style and stamina is more likely on point. And then he's coming in and immediately he's fighting for titles. This is unheard of. Bob Arum made this guy's second fight. His second fight was against Orlando Salido. So he lost that fight. And again, if you have not fought a pro fighter and you haven't fought pro Mexican fighters, then you in store for a rude awakening. They are super durable. They somehow suck down enough weight the day of the weigh-in to increase by up to 15 to 20 pounds the night of the fight. So you usually fighting a guy several weight classes above you, and then they have perfected how to pressure fight you while preserving their energy. So it don't matter how much skill you got in a lot of those fights. Those Mexicans are going to absorb your punches. They're going to walk through your punches, and they're going to take their time touching you round by round, putting their weight on you and going to the body. And that's what he did. Again, this is his second fight. So you get past that fight in his third fight. I just asked you if he fought anybody on his skill level. His third fight, he fought Gary Russell Jr. There's a lot of trash talk on the internet right now about Gary Russell Jr. fighting somebody at 140 who is considered the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, Terrence Crawford. A guy that is fighting at 126 pounds, considering fighting the #1 pound-for-pound guy at 147 pounds. Lomachenko fought this dude in his third fight. And he washed him. It wasn't easy. It was a lot of movement. It was high level, it was speed chess. And he was better at speed chess than Gary Russell Jr. So like you said, this guy has been fighting for world titles early on. He has about 15, 14, 16 fights right now. He has 1 loss. That was his second fight against Orlando Salido. Nobody got close since then. And the things that we like about him, his footwork, his almost perpetual motion, similar to Pacquiao, but without the power. He does not have Pacquiao power. He does have decent power because at every weight class he's been at, 126, 130, and now 135, he has put people down. And the thing about him, and the same thing with Terrence Crawford, same thing with Canelo, they have the youth, they have the punch output, and they have the punch placement to where if they get you a little bit tired, if you're a little bit more tired than them, you're probably going to get stopped. Period, point blank. You have to be A-level conditioned, and you have to have your game plan down pat. There's no substitute. There's no, getting lucky. He moves too much. He's too crafty. He is too like he's too much of an oiled machine to just catch him with some Sunday punch. There's been some people like Linares who caught him with a right hand because Lomachenko was too busy moving. And again, if you are willing, like Jay said, to pivot with him and turn with him and punch when he stops, you are risking, going into like a airplane propeller. It's going to be punches flying at you, and you're going to have to go through them and land a punch on him. And I mean, you may land 1 to 5. Luke Campbell, you said you didn't know much about him. I checked him out. He has a fight soon with another 135-pound champion. He's taller. He's way longer. And again, he has a good amateur background as well. Vasiliy Lomanchenko is quite short. I think they have him listed at 5. He is not 5'7".
I was just about to say that. And his arms are not 65.5 inches either. They on some Iverson.
We are looking at BoxRec
type stuff.
We are looking at BoxRec right now, guys. And BoxRec has this dude listed at 5'7". And
absolutely not.
65-inch reach. And come on, bro. Come on, man.
He's 5'5" at the tallest because him and Tank are pretty much the exact same height.
Around the same height. Teofimo Lopez is pretty short too, the guy he's fighting. But overall, the guy, he's the goods. He's the goods. It's just he's older. You know he's getting older. I think Bob Arum's playing with him was, look, you're close to 30. We got to get you on the fast track faster than any other fighter in the history of boxing. But you have the skill set to do it. And Bob Arum, our top-ranked promotions, is notorious at matchmaking, at great matchmaking early in your career. They get you in front of the highest profile people they can get you in front of with the lowest risk you can get for that name or a name similar to it with the highest amount of money. And Bob Arum has been working in the industry long enough to get you with the best networks. Right now, you were ESPN. And I'm not going to say it's the best network for boxing, but
the most you watch.
It's the most watched sports network. So you're front and center, baby. He's still not a big draw. A lot of these people are not American. They don't speak great English. And without speaking great English, you can't shit talk greatly. For lack of better.
A little and a little bit of icing on that cake, piggybacking on that. Let's just be honest. America has a hard-on for a good-looking white boy. They can't wait to find one. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, but that's the trend that America has, and they pour absolutely every bit of faith that they have into that particular fighter, no matter what sport it is.
But here's the thing. The corporations will put money into these people because they believe in them. But the audience, at the end of the day, they won't smoke. They won't action. They don't care about your marketability when it comes to all of them buying the pay-per-view. You have to have something behind that. Either you got to have personality or you got to knock people out. They don't care about you just being fast. Some people will watch your fights just because you're fast and you may be white, but there was a Paulie Malignaggi around. He couldn't crack an egg. He couldn't bust a grape. And no one was watching his fights. Tyson Fury didn't get people to watch his fights until he started talking all that noise. I mean, he's not good looking either. So I mean, that doesn't help.
Well, early in his career, he still had hair, and he looked way different. Like he was kind of like, he kind of looked like a sex symbol over there. And once he lost his hair, but that man fell way off the wagon. Drugs, everything.
He would have been quite marketable if he didn't lose his hair. So now he has to add a lot more personality because he can't punch that hard, and he's not that good looking at all. At all. He's Homer Simpson out there to me. But again, first you got to have a base, just like the Latino fighters have whole countries that support them. Majority of America, I think 70% white American. If you're a white American, you box. Look at your fan base. It could be 70% of this country. But then you got to tap into it. And these people are European. They don't speak good English. So first you got to offset from that. And then if you're not, we're we're a pride-driven, bravado-driven society here in America. If you don't have the bravado or you're not projecting that, that's another step backwards. And then you got to have the connections. He has some connections, but again, that network is not really bringing in boxing fans. So as far as, you know, anybody he fights at 135, he should be the favorite in all of those fights. We will have a different opinion in some of those fights, but he should be the favorite in all fights at 135 pounds right now. Again, talk about betting odds, he should be the favorite. But yeah, again, we talked about it. One thing we didn't mention is that he's a southpaw, which makes things worse for their opponent. So most people might be able to keep up with speed and timing. What's up?
I mean, that's not really worth mentioning at this particular level, especially with him fighting Teofimo. I think Teofimo has experience in that, and to be honest, he has the style of somebody that would be naturally left-handed. But that's all I'll say on him for now.
Okay, we'll get into that. And but going back to him being a southpaw, no matter how good you are, there's not a lot of high-level sparring partners you can get used to. There's not a lot of high-level opponents that you can get in the ring with to prepare you for that. Some guys will actually fight southpaw after southpaw after southpaw, probably fight 3 southpaws in a row just to get ready for a top-tier southpaw. I remember when Mayweather fought Zab Judah. He had fought Charbet Mitchell and he fought Chop Chop Corley before he fought Zab Judah. You got to get it right. He had fought Ortiz and he had fought Guerrero before he had fought Pacquiao. You got to get that rhythm. And he had good amateur sparring partners coming in. I know he had Errol Spence come in to his training camp to help him spar when he was getting ready for Ortiz. He had Zab Judah to come in and help him spar when he fought Pacquiao. I don't know who Teofimo Lopez or any of the rest of them have. The best southpaws in the game are actually going to all be your opponents. So I don't know who they'll get, but they got to find somebody. But which leads me to the last part of our breakdowns when we're looking at these fights. Any intangibles you're looking at coming to this fight that may hinder or help Lomachenko, Vasiliy Lomachenko?
Any hindrances?
Anything that will help or hinder him in this fight coming up with Teofimo Lopez?
His reach is going to hurt him.
Mm-hmm.
His tendency to go in and out, which is usually an advantage, is going to hurt him. His lack of natural power is going to hurt him. Now, I'll say his speed is always going to be a good advantage. His variation of punch is always going to be an advantage. But I don't see this fight going anything like his normal fights. I think that Teofimo is going to force him to do something that he don't want to do immediately. He seemed like that type of headstrong, you think you're about to do this, I'm going to do this and let's see how you react type of person. Also, the thing he's going to have a problem with Teofimo with is Teo uses his left hook like a jab sometimes. And sometimes he'll just throw it just to see if he can touch you with it and then bomb you with that joint. And it don't matter what skill level you're at, he'll throw it just because he's young. That's going to be a problem, a huge problem. Because he is not going to shy away from trying to throw everything in the kitchen sink at you, and he's not going to miss every one of them.
I would say if it's one thing that may come into play is that we don't know how good his chin is at this weight and at this level. I don't think he's fought anybody that could hit him and that can hit this hard at 135 yet. We saw Luke. What's up?
This is the first time he's fighting somebody more athletic than him.
Yeah. Okay. Either at the same level or more. You're right.
Yeah.
So athleticism.
I would say Teo is more naturally athletic, but what's the name has just had so much honing of that specific skill. You can tell Teo was born.
Right.
Yeah, Tio was born like that, back flipping out the womb. You know what I mean?
Right. So we're looking at athleticism. We're looking at if he can take punches, because he will get touched in this fight. He's fighting someone close to the same skill level as him, had a good amateur background, had good sparring with other elite 135 pounders that we recognize now. And with him being able to touch him, he does have power. So the athleticism, the mental, the mental chess game and footwork and all that stuff through the athleticism and being touched by someone at this weight class who is used to being touched by other people at the weight class, seeing if Vasiliy can take that. But I think we can wrap it up on that, and we can get into Teofimo Lopez, see what he brings to the game.
Yeah, anything past that is going to be a little redundant, man. We didn't knock it out on that.
Right. So everybody, make sure you like, you subscribe, you comment, and you share. Renaissance, we out.